For a lot of you women, you need to be more selfish. Ladies in those generations are like, they're a bit selfish and I'm not faulting them. I'm not throwing shade, but Assalamu and hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you are all doing well. Today's topic is one that is titled a silent killer. Now, the disease I am talking about is called a silent killer because number one, it often goes undetected for a long period of time in women, and number two, because it goes undetected, it can lead to several consequences down the line, including kidney failure, heart failure, stroke, vision problems. And if you don't know what I'm talking about hypertension. So what I want to do for you today, I want to do something different. I don't want to just talk about changing your diet and exercise, even though those are very big components of getting out of a hypertensive state. But I do want to talk about root cause, and I have a book I want to share with you and how it's helping me put this together so that I can share it with you. So let's start out with some basic numbers for you to understand what a normal blood pressure is, and then when you start to enter into hypertensive states. So a healthy blood pressure, your systolic or your diastolic, is less than 120/80. If you have an elevated blood pressure, you're 120/129 over less than 80. If you have stage 1 hypertension, you're 130/139 above 80/90. And if you're stage 2 hypertension, you're greater than or equal to 140/90. And then you enter into crisis mode if you are greater than 180/120. Now, all of these numbers, you might be thinking, well, they don't mean anything to you. And that might be true if you don't know what your average blood pressure is throughout the years, year over year, month to month. Some of you might actually have to be checking your blood pressure daily and weekly, depending on what your your healthcare provider prescribed for you. Some of you just get it checked every 6 months to a year at your annual health checkup or at your OB/GYN health checkup. So let's talk about something different that I don't think is talked often about enough, is what's the root cause? And I think we need to first talk about behaviors as well as commitment. And I brought out behaviors and commitment because I'm actually reading a book called The 4 Disciplines of Execution. And I think it's important when I think about changing health habits, why we often struggle with implementing change, changing our behaviors, and sticking to that change. I think it's deeper than just eating healthy and moving your body, as I mentioned earlier. I think there's a psychological component. There is external component and internal factors. And I mentioned this in my previous video about Black women's health, but I think we do need to get a little bit more to the root of why we are experiencing such high blood pressure and hypertensive states that lead to additional illnesses and eventually can actually, or I should not say eventually, but can be the cause of death in women. So what's the root cause? So number one, what's your blood pressure? It's really important for you to know this information. And I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to mention it again and again and again. You need to know your status. You need to know where you are in terms of your health, whether you're healthy or unhealthy, and then keep track of that. Keep monitoring that. If you need to buy yourself a blood pressure cuff and have somebody help you check it daily or weekly or as often as necessary, then I think you need to go ahead and do that, because it's really important for you to know where you stand so that it would be easier for you, or I should say less difficult for you, to know how to make some changes. I think having that fundamental knowledge of where you are is crucial, and it's the first step of many things to come. The second thing is what's stressing you out, or I should also say who's stressing you out. Stress can lead to hypertensive state. Stress can raise your blood pressure. Now, this stress can come from many areas of your life. It could be from work. It could be from family. It could be from raising family. It could be from school. Knowing how to manage this stress is going to be crucial and key for you in the long run, in the short run and in the long run. How you manage your stress will then determine how you're able to live healthily. If there are certain circumstances that are preventing you from resting, being in a calm state, what are you going to do about that? How can you change your current scenario to make it work for you. Only you can change that for yourself. And so it's going to be important for you to determine what's stressing you out and how to alleviate that stress as much as possible. There is this current theory going around, the let them theory. Now, I've listened to a couple of podcasts or a couple of videos on letting people be and not trying to change their scenarios, their situations, them as people. And I think that's very important because, and I know I'm kind of not giving that let them theory its due diligence and explanations, maybe in another video, but if you withdraw yourself from trying to manage other people that you don't necessarily need to manage, or you don't need to necessarily have real input in their lives, and you decide to focus on yourself, would that be better for you? Would that actually help you? Just give that some thought, and I'll get into that a little bit later on in the video. The third thing I want you to think about is, do you eat nourishing foods? Now, yes, diet is a big component, and you hear that a lot. But if you don't understand what is nourishing and what is harmful, it's going to be difficult for you to implement change. You might be thinking that just eating a cheat meal a week won't impact your healthy lifestyle. But if that cheat meal skyrockets your blood pressure to crisis mode, to stage 2 to stage 1, then you shouldn't really be eating it. If there's a potential for you to eat a very highly salty, sodium-packed meal that just will throw everything off balance, my sis, you need to leave that alone. You need to consider what else you can substitute, what other alternatives you can implement for you to be healthier. And it might take you being very nitpicky about what you eat. You might have to get to the nitty-gritty of what you're consuming from the morning to the evening. And that's sometimes where we have to start. We have to start at a very minuscule level in understanding what it is that we're nourishing ourselves with. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk to you about, exercise. Now, again, diet and exercise are really big components, but I want you to understand and really dig into how much you move your body. For some of you, walking is the best thing that you can do. It's the only thing that some of you can do. Many of you may not be into powerlifting, or you may not be powerlifters, or you may not have the time to go into the gym. I understand that. I still want you to consider doing things at home that will allow you to strengthen your body, to burn energy, and to fuel your body so that you're able to condition yourself in the way that you are healthy. Condition yourself in the way that you're moving your body, you're getting your blood vessels pumping blood throughout your body, you're getting your heart pumping. The key to lowering your blood pressure and preventing hypertensive states is multifactorial. You have to look at each and every part of your life to determine what you can change and what you can change fairly rapidly and what you can change and remain consistent with. I think consistency comes with time and effort, and that's why you have to look at your behaviors and the commitment in which you want to invest in your health and your life. And then the fifth thing I have on my list is, do you need to be more selfish? I want you to watch this video here because I think that, especially for women, as we age, we're starting to, especially for Gen Xers, I would say, for us Gen Xers, we're starting to realize that we have not been selfish enough. We're seeing how the millennials and I think it's the Gen Alphas, I think you guys are called Gen Alphas, are really, the ladies in those generations are like, they're a bit selfish and I'm not faulting them, I'm not throwing shade, but you can see how women of different generations take care of themselves. And honestly, for Gen Xers and baby boomers, it's kind of like we've been conditioned to take care of others, and now we're left with, many of us are just unhealthy. We've been conditioned to take care of other people at the detriment to our own health. And that time it's kind of, I can see it wrapping up fairly fast. And I think that's a good thing because we need to put our health first because nobody else is putting our health first. So these are the things that I want you to think about. Hypertension, elevated blood pressure, what you're going to do to help yourself. Now, the book that I wanted to share with you is called The 4 Disciplines of Execution. I have not finished the book yet, but I do want to get into what the actual 4 disciplines are and how they can help us on the path to a better health journey. But I think for this one, starting out with your behaviors, your personal behaviors, and what's not being beneficial for you is key to start. And then 2, understanding where your issue with commitment is lying. Answer these questions for yourself. What's your blood pressure? What's stressing you out? Who is stressing you out? Do you eat nourishing food? What's going on there? I talk a lot about access to food and food deserts. Number 4, do you move your body? Do you exercise? What's preventing you from doing that? What can you do as a way to just get in some exercise? And then number 5 is, do you need to be more selfish? And for a lot of you women, you need to be more selfish, and that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. So I'm going to wrap this one up with that information that I just shared with you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. If you want me to answer anything, I'll leave some links below for you with regards to the book and in regards to the information I'm sharing with you today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.